been with Qlik for 10 years, and I've seen so many changes happening in this company. Just in the last year, since we spoke, we put out a pretty bold vision, a roadmap, and a promise to deliver more trusted, scalable AI, not just in theory, but also increasingly in reality, AI reality tour. And today, just 1 year later, I hope I can prove to you that we will really look at much more around the execution side of the spectrum, much more around the momentum side of the spectrum, and we will speak more about outcomes. Outcomes. You'll hear that word quite a lot. Rezultat in Polish? Right? Yes. It's the same in Swedish, so I cheated a little bit. But look, we understand that even though everyone is speaking about outcomes, from a reality perspective, this is quite difficult because you as data professionals and leaders are facing these challenges every day of legacy systems that are in severe need of modernization. You are facing ERP and data stacks that are increasingly trying to lock down your data into their stack, and it's not always so easy to move that. Increasingly, you have supply chain disruptions, both with the tariffs that are happening from the West that seem to be changing from month to month, but of course everything that's happening from the East, affecting Poland perhaps even stronger than other countries. And you're all asked to really have quite tight cost controls, especially when it comes to AI. So you're asked to do a lot of AI, but at the same time you're having tight cost controls. So we understand that this road is fraught with danger and it's very difficult to navigate. At the same time, the market is moving faster, constantly faster. You know, in my career, things have never moved on such an exponential innovation curve. It feels like a calendar year is an AI month. You go away for holiday, especially a Swedish holiday in a summer house, and you try to disconnect everything that has to do with technology, and you come back and the world has changed. It's incredible how much innovation there is right now. When it comes to vibe coding, when it comes to AI innovations like agents, when it comes to new data sources that are entering into your organization from the edge that many people refer to as dark data. We have robotics, which hopefully will be a big innovation theme here in Europe as well. And Jensen Huang has said that everything that moves, everything that's autonomous will become intelligent as well. So, in the middle of this, we also realize that data analytics and AI is what will give that edge to sort of navigate that difficult jungle out there. How many of you are using AI on a weekly basis, things like ChatGPT and other things? Can I see some hands in the air? I think that's pretty much everyone, right? Yet, there was a study that came out from MIT University about 2 weeks ago. Maybe you read about it in the news. 95% of organizations are not getting any return on investment on their AI investments, which is so surprising. Like, all of you are holding your hands up. From a personal productivity level, we're already there. But from an enterprise productivity level, we're absolutely not there. And I find that dynamic quite fascinating. The MIT study said that it's because of workflows. The AI cannot adapt to how your systems and integrate into your workflows, into your operations the way it's supposed to, number one. Number two, skills. There simply aren't enough skills in the organization to handle some of this, but also from a change management perspective. It's difficult to change people's cultural behaviors to comply with AI. And finally, while AI is cool and we're all using it, 90% accuracy, that's just not good enough for those workflows that run your business You need 99.5 to 100% accuracy. And corroborating with that MIT study, we see similar statistics when we did some work with IDC. Almost every leader has an AI strategy today. I don't think that there's necessarily problems with budget either, but only 26% has actually deployed it. We call this the activation gap. There's a huge gap between strategy and execution. And now, of course, you may have seen it, everyone is speaking about agentic AI as well. And this statistic kind of surprises me, that almost every organization, or at least 4 out of 5, are investing in agentic workflows, according to IDC. But only 12% are confident that they can support it. I'm sure that you see a pattern here, and this is a problem. Meanwhile, the leaders in your industry and outside of your industry, that 5%, they act, and they act with trust and with confidence, and increasingly they're winning in the market, so you cannot ignore those that are doing significant things with AI. They embed AI into every corner of their business, and they trust their data. At the right action, at the right time, with full confidence. And we hope that we can convince you today that this is where Qlik delivers, a frictionless data-to-decision platform built for scale. This is what we call do data differently. In the real world, in production, creating impact. Now, we have many successful use cases here in Poland, and you will recognize these logos. And I just want to mention some of them. Airbud, a large local construction company, will speak here today. Any hands? Are you here in the audience? Or maybe they will arrive later. You will speak here today, so go listen to their story on how they're analyzing data on an operational level, measuring KPIs for every project and stuff involved. And then we have companies like ProCam, Yes Jewelry, Lipco Foods, Impel Group, and I'm trying to pronounce this, Mlekovita? Yeah, okay. And City of Kielce. Me and Slavik worked on the pronunciation in the car yesterday. City of Kielce is doing a lot of interesting things, using Qlik for their open data so that all of the citizens of the city can benefit from it. Now, it varies to how much they're using AI, but they can be confident that working with a partner like Qlik, as we provide more and more AI capabilities, they will also mature along that AI continuum and get to more outcomes. So what sets Qlik apart? You can hear me in the back? Yes, okay. What sets Qlik apart? Well, first, it's trust, right? You cannot move fast if you don't trust your data. I think that's the key ingredient for those leaders that are moving forward. Qlik helps you unlock data from anywhere. This is part of the heritage of both Qlik talent that have things like trust scores and governance, but also Qlik that have always taken a government approach to self-service. The second piece that sets us apart is efficiency. You can look at efficiency in multiple different ways. You can look at it from a cost perspective, because compute is getting more and more expensive. Some people think that compute is the new capital, that's why everyone is building these huge data centers everywhere. And cost is extremely important to run this compute, number one. Number two, interoperability is also extremely important, and that brings to everything that Qlik does as an independent company. Interoperability is important, and then speed, of course, can also be part of efficiency. People are expecting extremely low latency interactions now. And of course, speed has always been part of Qlik's analytical engine. For those of you that are working with the associative engine, it's designed like that from the core. And it's also designed to be natural. The synapses of our brain is how the associative engine is working, where you can click on both what you think will happen, but you will also get to see what might not happen, right? It works differently from those SQL query tools out there. So natural is a big part of what we've done for a long time. Some of you may remember the marketing called natural analytics a few years ago. But the world has moved on. People are expecting conversations now and not coding. Everything should be low code or no code or vibe code, or you should be able to converse with your data increasingly. And we're building that into our platform as well, as you will see. So those are the things that we think will help turn your data into business value and increasing outcomes on Qlik. But don't just take our word for it. Since we met last year, we've taken a triple crown with Gartner, where we're a leader in the data integration quadrant. We're a leader in the augmented data quality solutions magic quadrant. And we're a leader in the analytics and business intelligence magic quadrant. As a former Gartner analyst, I spent 10 years there. This makes me particularly proud because I know how extremely hard this is. Microsoft couldn't do it. Informatica couldn't do it. Salesforce couldn't do it. Qlik did it. So we want you to shorten and make that path from data to outcomes easier. And that is the principle of how we design our platform, so that you have these significant components, making it as frictionless as possible to take your raw data. You should be able to move it from legacy systems to the most modern systems. You should be able to transform it in various ways. You should be able to trust that and have all kinds of combinatorial approaches with your diverse ecosystem so that you can analyze the data, but no longer just analyze it. We launched things like Qlik Predict and Qlik Automate so that you can also decide and act on that data. Of course, increasingly supported by an agentic framework underneath as well. And everything we do, we've tried to think about the users behind these different capabilities. Whether that is a data engineer, an AI developer, or perhaps a data scientist, or even business analysts and business users. We have a design team that thinks about this every day when they're rolling out products, how it's going to affect all of the different roles in an organization. All right, Ioana, so let me start with the analytics piece. To achieve this outcome, we almost need to start at the end. You need to be data-driven, you need to understand the outcomes that you want to achieve, and of course this is Qlik's pedigree, this is Qlik's DNA. And in the past year since we spoke, we've launched a number of different innovations, right? These are already out. As we heard from Ioana, we have many cloud regions in the world and in Europe so that we can comply with those data sovereignty initiatives and regulatory initiatives that are out there. Frankfurt, Ireland, London, I heard Canada launched yesterday. It's not in Europe yet. Maybe they will join us soon. And other regions as well. France is coming very soon, and Israel is coming very soon as well. Data prep. We have launched data flow, and it's had a dramatic uptake in our customer base already, which is all about bringing that data prep to life with no code, bringing that raw to analytics data ready in minutes. We've brought our whole reporting suite to the cloud, most recently with Pixel Perfect reporting. And then, when it comes to listening to you, we've taken a lot of your feedback on board in terms of how the usability should be, how the onboarding should be, and we've made a number of UX changes as well. And then finally, Qlik Predict. We brought you more predictive capabilities and more model ops capabilities as well. This is all out already. So, there's a number of big rocks that we're also launching this year. The first one is multivariate forecasting, because we don't think that it's enough anymore to just focus on one trend line, but you will want to analyze multiple trends that are happening around you across time things like seasonality, pricing, campaigns, economic signals. That will deliver sharper forecasts and more accurate forecasts for you. And it means that Qlik Predict can open up a whole new wave of use cases in your organization. The second one is table recipes, recite recipes. And it's all about taking data flow to the next level for those spreadsheet users that want a streamlined spreadsheet-like experience for preparing simple table formats with no scripting or no complex coding whatsoever. So it will bring data prep to a whole suite of new users that haven't used it before. And then, of course, write back. In the 10 years that I've been at Qlik, I can't remember a year when I haven't heard, when are you bringing some write back capabilities into Qlik? Well, now we have it, where you can edit table cells and instantly sync changes across sessions without reloads. Of course, this is a first taste, but it will be a significant one for the entire Qlik ecosystem. But we also realize that partners can add a lot of value with more sophisticated write-back functionalities on top of this. And then, migration tool. Many of you are either pressured or you want to move from your on-premise or your hybrid estate increasingly to the cloud, despite all of these regulations that we are hearing about here. And of course, cloud is the future, and we've made it super easy for you to move your QlikView estate, your end-printing estate, and your QlikSense client-managed estate to the cloud. An acquisition we made on Stretch Connect about a couple of months ago, and we're giving this migration tool to you at no cost. All right, so we've spoken about analytics. We also see this massive move right now from dashboards increasingly to decisions. This doesn't mean getting rid of the dashboards. That would be an act of foolishness. Many of you are getting critical business value every day from your dashboards. But everyone is speaking about decision intelligence, and we see a great opportunity to now to rethink the platform so that it will move not just from the descriptive, what has happened, to diagnostic, why did it happen, to predictive, to prescriptive, what do we do about it, and now increasingly to proactive, or sentient, or ambient analytics that are sitting out there at the edges of the organization and are feeling changes, anomalies that are happening, and bringing them to you. And we think that you just want answers, right? This is what we hear. You want proactive, predictive, and personalized answers. Because most business users, they don't want to build dashboards. They don't want to work in these KPIs or understand dimensions and measures and all of these components. So that's why, to complement your workflows, we're super proud and excited to share our new agentic experience. It's coming this year, and it's going to make your decisions much more differently and much easier. On a trusted platform, in natural language, with both structured and unstructured data, and having all kinds of tasks agents running proactive insights for you. Now, Qlik was founded on this concept of bringing people and technology together. It's been at our core from the beginning, and that's how we're thinking about agentic as well. So we want to improve the productivity of all of the Qlik developers and creators out there, but also enhance the decision-making for everyone that is using analytics in their business. And we launched Qlik Answers, I think it was last year, right, Ioana? And it has been extremely popular. But what we hear is that it would be amazing and differentiating if we could combine structured and unstructured data in the same environment, because you need that for fast, accurate, and accessible answers. Remember when I said one of the things that made only 95% not get value from AI? is that you can't just rely on 90% accuracy for some of your most critical workloads. Well, we think that this will make the difference when we combine your governed, your structured analytics with the unstructured data that you have in your organization in the same environment. And then, this is super cool. We have also designed for a discovery agent that will go out there and crawl insights in your data and in your applications and find interesting things for you, and it will summarize that in a central hub that will come to you. And then you can take action or not take action on that. And over time, we're also working with all of the protocols like MCP and A2A to increasingly build agent-to-agent interactions as well. All right, so I gave a flyover, and Ioana, now it's your time to give a little bit more meat on the bones, because people think probably that guy's crazy talking about all this stuff. So show it to them.
Thank you, Dan. Now I'm even more excited to show you how all these new capabilities are coming together in a real-life use case inspired by retail. We are going to meet 3 different employees of a supply chain, each with their problems, their challenges, and with their roles. We are going to start with the supply chain manager in charge of inventory. He needs to move fast because one slow delivery and the shelves go empty. I start my day in my email, and my favorite agent, my discovery agent, has already been one step ahead of me. It is that agent, as Dan mentioned, who is constantly scanning my information, my data, and as soon as there is a deviation, prompts it to me, and so I can take immediate action. Like, for example, to send these problems to my logistics manager and ask him to take a closer look. Now, I have further insights delivered by my discovery agent. I have different peaks, deviations from trends. What catches my eye is the produce demand forecast having a peak, an unexpected peak. And I would like to understand more about this. I do not want to start digging through data, find the answers by myself, or ask my colleagues to explain this data for me. I am opening my assistant, Qlik Answers. I want to understand my facts, I want to understand why things are happening, what I can do about it, and potentially take next steps. So, opening my assistant, I will ask my first question. Which products are actually in high demand but low in stock? The agent understands my question, is business aware, and is providing me information from my structured data, from my curated analytics data pool, and informs me that the avocados are actually the main culprit, which are low in inventory but high in sales. Now I'm interested to save this for later, and I'm asking my assistant, I actually see where the data actually comes from. I have full transparency. If I want to save this, I ask my assistant how to do this, and it understands my intent. It activates the unstructured data agent and provides me information from my latest Qlik Help website that I don't have to do anything about it. It's all automatically saved. Now I would like to look into the future and understand how things are developing for my products, and I would like to know how popular will avocados be next month in order to take next actions. Little spoiler, there will be no answer for this. And this is good. Unlike other tools, my assistant will not hallucinate. It will give me answers from my data and only from my data. But this is not a dead end. We have the option to provide feedback to my developer and ask for product demand forecast for avocados. We will circle back on this. But now, before I do anything about my problem product, I would like to understand more about it. I would like to know, for example, why are avocados so popular? And this is where we are differentiating ourselves. The agent, my assistant provides me a complete answer. It goes into my data pool of structured answers, unstructured answers, and provides me all the information that I need in order to take an informed decision. Whether it's trends from social media that I'm storing in my knowledge databases, product planning from other systems, or my dashboards, I see my trend line. And as well with one click, I'm able to see from which exact files it sources my data. Good. Now I have my answer. Now I'm positive that I would like to purchase an order of 100 bags of avocados. So at this point, I am able to take action. And as you see, I am not leaving the platform or my assistant. It is activating my automation agent now in the background and fills out the form for me. At this point, I don't have to do much else than select a destination, click confirm, and my automation agent sends the purchase order, I will get a confirmation receipt, and I'm set to go. So what have we seen? We have seen that at no point did I have to leave the platform. I did not have to wait for other colleagues to make decisions or to provide me information. These agents provided me trusted data. So this is how we envision the analytics of the future to be able to get answers, insights, and as well trigger action from within the platform. Now, let's see who is super happy in the next office. We are visiting our developer. His task is to provide my organization with trusted information every time, all the time. Everybody trusts him. And he's super excited to see that there is a new feedback coming from the supply chain assistant. Who might this be? It is a request coming from our alter ego, the supply chain manager, who requested product demand forecast for avocados. No, I couldn't provide him a number, but I want to provide something that's more sustainable. I have the perfect tool for that. I will configure this in Qlik Predict. I have now the option, instead of doing a linear forecast, I have the option to configure a multivariate time series, which allows me to generate a forecast that is aware of different variables and will allow me to do scenario playing using different features like price variations, different signals in the market, application of discounts, and so on. And as my task is to move fast, it is very fast because it is no code and it is supported. All my agents are doing the heavy lifting and as well provide me transparency. So while the model is running, I am thinking, what will I see behind it? I have full explainability. I see what are the inputs, what are the outputs, what are the parameterizations, what are the changes, and I believe at this point that this model that I chose right here is ready to be implemented. Let's see how this looks in a deployed dashboard. I see my forecast at the bottom of the screen. Let me see if it works. Let's select avocados. It is fine. My forecast adjusts and I get a clean forecast. I'm not done yet. I would like to see what would happen if I run a campaign for tortilla chips, if I apply a discount, and if I move shelf. We see with each click, the forecast adjusts. Why is it? It is aware of every variable that changes and how this variable adjusts the forecast. This is thanks to the multivariate forecast that we deploy. It understands the correlation between these different elements. Good. Then we are now able to see scenarios before we implement them. That will be an advantage that we'll see later in this use case. Now we want to implement this, to deploy this, and to be able to send the forecast to my agent, to my supply chain assistant, so that it can draw information from it. It's easy, 2 clicks away, I add my product forecast to the agent, and now we test it from the same interface. What can I do for you today? Well, I would like to see my forecast for avocados, and there it is in clean form. My supply chain assistant has the information at its basis to provide me an answer. So we have seen now a new level of agility. We have seen how agents are supporting us in delivering a multivariate analysis, how I can provide my team a reliable forecast Now, let's look at my next team member, which is the poor data analyst. He has to drive sales by applying discounts. This is not an easy task to do, and we will see a collaborative way of working in the platform. The first thing we see is that our frozen products are doing really bad. We need to push those. I see frozen lasagna, it's not doing great either. Let's simulate a discount of 20%. It's making use of what we implemented earlier, the multivariate time series forecast. It understands and runs a simulation for me, and I see frozen lasagna is a great winner. Normally, at this point, I would need to change tool and go into my planning tool and implement this 20% forecast and so on. But we have now right table. We are able, with one click, to stay in the tool, apply those discounts, and as well write a note to the colleagues to be aware of what is happening. This is automatically synchronizing in my analytics space, and I can even send an action to my shops to update the frozen lasagna discount in the shelves. But I am not done yet. What I would like to do is to do a last mile data cleansing. I don't want to go to my IT department. I would need to go to the IT department to ask them to do some fine granular changes to match my requirements. They have better things to do. Luckily, I have the table recipe, which allows me in a tabular form to do some small changes, and I have on one side all the functions that I can apply, like, for example, calculate a date difference. And on the other side, I have a customized dialog in which I can implement, in which I can give by drop-down parameters of what I want to do. I want to calculate in days the difference between the shelf date and the purchase date to calculate my days on shelf. Good. I click the button and I see immediately the results. I can even check if they are fine. And what I see is that I still have some product names that I would like to cleanse or to kick out. I don't need them. It's prepared food. It's not interesting. I have another recipe for that. And I apply a filter, a smart filter with complex or semi-complex rules to filter out those problem rows. And in my recipe, I choose to delete filtered rows. Then I apply the filtered rows and see how they disappear. So what I have created here is a rule that can be reused. It's a valid rule that can be reused by other colleagues. It's a tool that allows me to work faster and more efficient. So if we can go back to the slides, we see that the combination of all these capabilities allow us to reshape the way we work and interact with our data. We get a seamless experience, we get trusted results, we get efficiency, exactly what Dan was explaining to us with the three-leaved clover of what we are able to do. So now Dan, back to you to look into the other section of our
the data side. That was amazing. Thank you, Ioana. Of course, we realize that for delivering on outcomes, obviously, and more people are realizing this, data is the foundation. Without that, your buildings that you're building on top of will just sink down into quicksand. You need data as a foundation in order for successful AI initiatives. The good news is we saw this 5 or 6 years ago and started investing significantly in the data space, right? Companies like Qlik, Talent, etc. And now we're at a point where we're perhaps the most significant independent data integration vendor in the world, right? There was Informatica, but they were recently acquired by Salesforce. And there were a lot of question marks what that means for them being a Switzerland of data management, given their previous acquisitions of Salesforce, right? Even Salesforce has said that it's largely to drive their agentic efforts inside of Salesforce. So we think that this is a super important space, and we continue investing in it, and we've done a lot of continuous innovation since we saw each other last year. The big one, of course, is that you can now basically have studio and replication integrated into one experience. We also have done a lot of work around integrating the data analytics side. For example, trust scores for AI. You'll see a lot of that both on the data side and on the analytics side, like Ioana showed. But also data products integrated with QBDs and basically working on the APIs for those as well. So lots of innovation in the past year. We see three key trends in the data space. First one is trusted data products. The second is open lakehouses. The third one, like we've already touched on, agentic platform. So, data products. How many of you have heard of this concept, data products? Any hands? About a third of the hands in the audience, right? Data products are, frankly, increasingly important in the data economy. And I urge you to attend this session from Qlik and Giacomo, I think I said that name, right? In the afternoon. They will speak about data monetization, and external data products will be a significant theme there. A data product is a package, reusable output, such as a data set or an application or a model or a dashboard, designed to deliver reusable, actionable value to end users by treating data as a product. And in the data economy, this is increasingly needed both internally and externally. And it's a big component of this architectural approach called data mesh, which you may have heard of. The problem is there's always been that trust layer missing. When business units are building data products, it doesn't have the same definitions, it doesn't latch onto your central systems very well. So we've put a lot of focus on providing trust into those data products through things like trust scores and through also integrating with QBDs. And Ioana, perhaps you can bring that home there.
Sure. Thank you so much, and thank you for highlighting that the importance of data products. If we were looking at what we were building in data analytics, it was more like preparing a meal. We were using as ingredients our data and building something yummy and appealing. Now, in order to do that, you need to be able to find your products, your data, and to be able to trust it. It needs to be fresh, it needs to be certified, and you need to understand what's in it. So this is what we are going to see today, how we are going to leverage data products in Qlik Cloud in order to bring our users this trust and to have the users find the data. We are going to start in our data marketplace. It's the place where our data products are being published. And we are going to drill down into our supply pulse, which is a data product organized around supply chain. As we drill into it, we see that it's built out of different data sets. Data coming from enterprise systems, but as well data managed in Qlik, like QVDs or parquet files. We can drill down in any of them to get data quality, but I would like to start with QVDs because this will show you that we now have data quality QVDs as well. This is something new. And we will discuss today how the Qlik Trust, what's new in the Qlik Trust score and in the data quality metrics. The Qlik Trust score is a customizable weighted metric built out of the different data quality dimensions. And we have dimensions like validity and completeness, that these have been there before, but what is new is something around AI, the diversity of my data, timeliness, and discoverability. Timeliness is something that we would like to start with. Although my target is to have low latency data, I discussed with my data product manager that a refresh time of hourly, every 3 hours is fine. Good. When I will confirm this, you will see that the trust score is going to update automatically, and as well the timeliness of my data. We are now at 100%. Timeliness is a very interesting construct. It updates as the data updates, but as well as time passes. So in an hour, we will see if the data is not refreshed, we will see it dropping. Then we would like to see discoverability being better. Now I could go and manually update descriptions for hundreds of data sets, but here we have the option to use Gen AI to create a first description that if I would like to further curate. As soon as I save this, I see an increase both in the trust score and the discoverability. But finding the data and understanding what's in it or how fresh it is one side. We would like to have data quality that is as well customized to my personal needs. Whether I'm from the identical industry, I might have data requirements that are different from one to the other, specific validation rules and so on. And this is what we can do in data quality. We have some specific concepts for that. At first glance, I see that I have some missing values, some wrong ones. I will want to see them in context, in data preview. And what catches my eye is the unit of measure. It has some units of measures that are discovered as invalid. At one glance, I see that this is not a standard data type. It's not something that the system has identified automatically. It's a custom semantic type that I have defined for myself based on a dictionary or based on a pattern. It's not recognized, so at this point I can go and adjust those custom semantic types. What I see next is though that state and region have some invalids and some empty cells. These are though, regionality is though very important for my multivariate forecast that I was implementing in data analytics. So I would like to highlight this to my users that at least these roles are not fit for purpose, that they are not good to use. So what do? I have for this the possibility to do custom rules, custom validation rules. With if-then-else logic, for example, I can define that if I have an address and the fields state and region are empty, this should be flagged as wrong. And my users can now see it directly in the interface or through the data quality scores that those lines are not fit for purpose. But now I have, so these are highlighted as invalid, but I would like to see where does this wrong data come from. For this we have lineage. Lineage gives you the opportunity to see where the data comes from, and we have extended this to include lineage from flow, which was introduced last year, from machine learning experiments, and as well from talent studio jobs via TMC. And why is that important? You are probably building complex jobs which have like a dynamic schema which changes at runtime and would like to see active metadata. You want to see the truth at all time, and this is what we allow you to do now with this inclusion in lineage. And it's not hard to configure. With just a few clicks, you see here now your artifact, you open the processor and immediately just need to allow the lineage collection for this task. I understand you can already see it in the platform and continue, and then you will have true metadata. So if we go back to the overview, what we provide with these new capabilities is to be able to find your data, to trust it, and to use it.
Perfect. The second theme, so it's really cool to see how the different components of the platform are coming together with data analytics. And data products work really well with this other concept called open data. You may have heard about open table formats. There's a number of different out in the industry, but there's one that is significantly winning out right now, and it's Apache Iceberg. It's a data table format that helps you basically turn raw data, structured and semi-structured data in your data lakes into high-performance data platforms. And because it's the most adopted format, you can basically write once and then reuse on a number of different data stores, whether it's Snowflake, Databricks, AWS, S3, or whatever you're using. And because it can sort of separate the compute from the storage layer, it can abstract from those, you can run queries in the most optimal places, whether that's Qlik or Trino or Dremio or anything that you prefer to use. And that brings a number of different benefits for you. Interoperability, number one, like all of your diverse ecosystem will speak the same language. We spoke about costs being an important component in the age of compute. This is a huge benefit here, where you can run the workloads in the most optimal places from a cost perspective. So we scanned the market and we identified a leading vendor in this space that is called Upsolver. And we looked at those guys, and basically, apart from all of the benefits that I've spoken about, they had another key benefit as well. Extremely low latency. They could run up to 5 million events per second. So we thought that this would be a great fit with what we do, especially as an independent vendor, and we acquired them. And I'm proud to say that we are now announcing this as Qlik, OpenA, and Lakehouse. And speaking to Krister, it looks like it's coming next week, right? So I'll hold you accountable to that. Or very soon, let's put it that way. And with this out, we're already seeing huge benefits, right? 5 times faster query performance, millions of events per second, as I mentioned earlier, and up to 50% cost savings. So this is a really big deal for us. Why don't you talk a little bit more about it, Ioana?
Sure, thank you. And I hope I do it justice with the demonstration. So we are going to have a look at how a data engineer or data architect can use the capabilities of the Qlik Open Lakehouse in Qlik Cloud to provide that data foundation that we all rely on. And we are going to start here in my pipeline that is ingesting raw supply chain data and persisted in Iceberg in my S3 environment. Now, being on Qlik Cloud, I have access to all the connectivity that we offer, whether it's the access to the latest SaaS applications or to relational databases or even more complex sources like mainframe or SAP. You have access to all of this. But what's interesting now is an engineer, I have been tasked to source data and unlock this with low latency using Kafka. And this is relatively easy to do with what we are offering now as an interface design. We were talking yesterday about Kafka ingestion, and one of my colleagues was saying I would need now to take the user manual, and it's quite complex to do. You will see it is not with what we have set up. So we have our connector configured, and what we are doing, we search for the topics. We will select those topics that are of interest to us, add them to the data set safe, and while I'm preparing this ingestion, I am thinking, this is going to be a lot of data, as Dan was saying. How will I scale my infrastructure? Well, I need to run it first, and then we are going to look at what we have for you. We have a concept of lakehouse clusters. I have here a dev cluster and a production cluster, and they are both scaled differently on 2 different strategies, low cost and low latency. This possibility of lakehouse clusters allows me to fine-tune my processing load. So I can customize the lower priority clusters on low cost and the highly critical ones on low latency. And I have the possibility to still be in control for that. These clusters manage themselves, they scale automatically for me, and they are automatically managed, giving me this simplicity of still having control. But at this time, I know that there is still something that is important. Householding. There will be a lot of data, there will be some data that needs to be managed, like for example, the adaptive optimization that we are offering helps you with compaction, data retention, and orphan files. We do it all for you automatically in the background. You don't have to start a compaction strategy and define parameters and hope you get it right. Then, we are looking into the openness of the data. That's another attribute of this data, which is very important. We are going to look at how we can this case, we are ingesting the data from one pipeline and we are mirroring it in Snowflake and Databricks. We need to make sure we are not copying and storing it in there. We just make it aware to my querying environment, my data environment to be queried. So we are using the query load of Snowflake to be able to access that data. We don't have to ingest the data, we do not have to manage the data in satellite systems. And it gives you consistency, whether you query it with Snowflake or whether you query it with Databricks, you get the same result and you do not have to worry about consistency. And if you want to add an additional system, you just open the mirror data connector or operator and you are there. So this is what we are doing with Lakehouse. This is how it would look like in a scenario when it is implemented.
Perfect, thank you, Ioana. And by the way, Krista, you're off the hook. You have no responsibility, formal responsibilities for the launches. However, everyone should attend Krista's session in this afternoon with a deep dive on the Open Lakehouse. So, as you can see, hopefully you've gotten an understanding that this is not... Oh yeah, you're doing one more.
We have a goodie.
You have a secret, like Steve Jobs said.
Could we
One
go
more
back to the
thing,
demo?
which is apt because of the Apple launch yesterday. So go for it. On Agentic.
Thank you. So we would like to, we have seen what the agentic experience was doing in the analytics space. It changed the way we are thinking about data, how we are thinking about consuming and processing data. We would like to give the same seamless experience to our counterparts in the data engineering team, in the data ingestion team. And for that, we have the agentic experience and what is specifically on pipeline designers. So if I am now in my system, I have a business case. I'm going to open my agent, and I'm not just going to ask him to start loading data for me. It's too simple. I'm going to provide it with my use case. And my business use case is that I would like to create some KPIs around fulfillment with a certain refresh rate. The agent understands context. It will provide me with answers around Qlik Talent Cloud. It will tell me I need to onboard my data and create a data mart. Easy said than that, but this is not how I usually work. I would like first to see what data I have in my system. So I will ask it, do I have the necessary data? And if I have it, what APIs can I build with that? The system, the assistant goes out. We see here the tools that it's using for transparency. And it finds a project that has the data. And it finds as well the data that's in it and suggests me a few KPIs. Now it offers me help to build a data mart. For transparency reasons, let's open the pipeline that we are going to adjust with the help of the assistant. So, yes, I would like to create a data mart, but I would like to be able as well to run some analysis on product and supplier. Good. The assistant now understands what it needs to do, is business aware. I don't have to code now lines and send 300s of lines of prompt just to do this. With a few lines in natural language, it understood. It built a KPI, a fulfillment data mart, and it added the dimensions as well to it. I have now dimensions of supplier and product, and I have as well indication of what I could do with those dimensions. But as we all know, we are not done yet. We would like to see the data sets and the KPIs that it built. We are happy with that, but we see we need more. We would like to know if, I would like to have some other dimensions that relate to fulfillment. Quite vaguely formulated, but the agent understands me. And it goes to source through my data. And it finds that warehouse and store would be a good fit. And it as well tells me how I could use them as KPIs in my further analysis. And if I look at my data mart, I have my star schema, and it's now a 4-dimensional star schema. We brought simplicity to the data engineers. So closing the circle of having the agentic AI experience.
Wonderful. seen everything.
Self-explanatory.
So I guess the key here is I want to go back to that MIT study. 95% of organizations not getting ROI. That same study said that compared to those that try to do AI with internal efforts, your success rate is twice as high if you work with trusted external partners. And I hope we've shown you today that we can be that partner from a trust perspective that will help you navigate that difficult jungle between the different obstacles in your way between data and outcome that I showed. But also that we're innovative and efficient enough and interoperable enough to help you move towards all of these new trends that are happening in the AI space constantly. And all of this that we showed today is coming in 2025. This is not science fiction. This is stuff that we're working on right now and will deliver on in 2025. And if we get all of that out, everything open lakehouse that will help you sort of from a trust perspective and the data products, and also then all of the agentic and the innovations from an analytics perspective that will help you on the execution side. And we close that activation gap, then you can almost flip it, where you start with the outcomes in mind, what you want to achieve, and you work your way back to the data. And that's how we'd like to work, and that's why we call it Do Data Differently. Thank you very much.